Hey guys, and before we get to the show, just want to let you know, brand new podcast called The Andy Carlson Show. Original, I know. Sports and other stuff coming at you 5 days a week, part of the Cold Omaha Podcast Network. So, get up the show. Visit andycarlsonshow.com/podcast or get on Stitcher and iTunes. All right, on with the show.
And whose team is this? Is this your team? Or is this your daddy's team?
Thanks for listening to the Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting in a politically correct world. Here's your host, Andy Carlson.
Welcome back to the Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting for a politically correct world. I'm your nuts homeball host, Andy Carlson, at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine, and I don't know what happened, but my voice is dead. It's dying. I'm also a father. I have no idea what I'm doing, but you are neither there, Chiefy, so let's try and learn something together today. The website is dadmodepod.com, Twitter at dadmodepod, or just use the hashtag dadmode. Joining me, as always, this week, Uncle Nick at Nickerson. Hey, how's it going?
Good, Andy. How you doing today?
I don't know what's going on. It might be the fact that it's, just woke up and it's 7 o'clock on a Saturday, or I don't know. Like, I'm not sick. I have no cough. The cough thing, the cough saga of 2016, that's gone away. And I don't know. Maybe it's voice fatigue.
You are doing a lot of podcasts. I don't know.
Yeah, but you do see these people who are doing 3 or 4 hour terrestrial radio a day, and they're fine. It's odd. Maybe it's just like breaking. It's like when you start running, and then you're like really winded after like 3 miles, right? And eventually you get it up so you can run an ultra marathon, and then you're like, yeah,
maybe,
yeah, because when you say the name Andy Carlson, you think about ultra marathons.
That's the only thing I ever think of when I hear your name.
Oh man! All right, so Nick, what's going on in your world? What's going on with the Nickerson podcast? What's going on in the world of lead?
The world of lead. It's my TM week at my work, so asbestos is busy as usual, and putting in a lot of hours, working late, trying to keep up with the supply and demand of my job.
Now, for the audience, I know all about what asbestos is, but for the audience, what is asbestos?
Asbestos is a mineral that was used in the 1900s to help insulate houses and homes, and as modern medicine and technology, comes through, it was discovered that asbestos is really terrible for breathing in. Mm-hmm. It gets stuck in your lungs and causes cancer.
Terrible.
So I work for a company. I won't give the company name on this podcast, but our company, we analyze building materials, things that could attain asbestos. And
Nick works for the science branch of Shakey's Pizza.
So yeah, I work for a lab, and we test building materials for asbestos. And
with a pen and a pad, trying to get this damn label off.
Unless I'm not my friend say.
Someplace where you can buy asbestos if you want to. Although I don't think they sell it anymore. Amazon, dadmodepod.com/Amazon. Redirect right to the homepage. Bookmark the hell out of it. Every time you buy something on Amazon, which you already do, just use our link and we'll get a couple of nickels and keep the lights on in this damn place. All right, so today, Nick, I wanted to talk to you about this list that's gone quasi-viral again. Apparently it's been around for a couple of years, but this is my first time seeing it. And, of course, you know how it is on Facebook. Share this, or you hate your children. Share this, or you want to murder other people's children. How dare you? I always love the Facebook, like, really passive-aggressive things, like where it's like a photo of some scripture, and it's just like, share if you believe Jesus died for your sins. If you don't share, you obviously do not give a shit, and you're going straight to hell. But that's none of my business. I mean, if you want to, like, if you feel like it, share this. Otherwise, you're going to hell.
My favorite Facebook things right now are the videos where, like, they're making food.
That's a thing.
You ever see that? It's I have a lot of. It could just be me, a bunch of Facebook and my Facebook friends, but I always see these like 1 minute like quick videos where you see someone prepare food in like that stop capture like video style where like they put a bowl, they have like
Oh,
just see the
is it
hands.
like those Taco Bell breakfast ads?
Yeah, it's just they make the food like in the bowl and like bake and like they put all these ingredients that you wouldn't expect, and then like a new way to make French toast and like the so fruity or chocolatey so and so kind of meal like all like in like a quick minute. I'm like, oh, I want to make this, or like easy to make calzones, and like they like list off all the ingredients and like they show just the like a POV shot of the hands like putting all this stuff in.
Nick is all about the POV shots.
Hells yeah.
All right, now my voice is clearing up as I'm drinking coffee while you're talking, so I'm guessing it's just morning voice.
You gotta keep your throat lubricated. You gotta have a lot of fluids in there, water.
No, like I feel perfectly fine, but I'm talking like I just had puberty. I got my first pube, Nick.
Oh my god.
It's exciting. All right, let's get into this list, and this list is 13 things parents can do to set their children up for success. And it's beyond the whole SEO clickbaity title. There are a couple of good items in here. There are a couple of no shit Sherlock items in here. So let's get to numero uno. 1, they make their kids do their chores.
That's what I think that's the most shocking thing. Top 3 of the most shocking things on this list to me.
Oh, Nick, don't go clickbait again. It's like 13 things you can do to set your children up for success. Number 7 will shock you.
I'm all about the entertainment. That's how I say it.
Yeah. All right, so with the kids doing their chores, I feel like that's should be an obvious thing, but also a lot of parents don't do it because a lot of kids have allowances, right? $20 a week, whatever. They get that free and clear. You know what that is? That's welfare. That's kids' welfare. You don't want to teach your kids about that. You don't want to teach your kids about living off the government dole and government cheese. Nah. What we're going to do with Muggsy and our future kids is that from a young age, we're going to teach them that, hey, if you do some things around the house, you'll get rewarded. There's never going to be a straight-up allowance. There ain't no Carlson welfare up in this biz.
No, I strongly believe that's correct. You want to, you want the kids kind of learn how to semi-start working. To understand that when you do a task that you need to do, that you get rewarded. I was just shocked to see that on this list. I mean, I shouldn't be shocked to see it, but like, it's one of those things like you kind of look like, oh yeah, kids who do chores, but then again, it makes me think about how there are kids who don't have chores. There might be families out there where they're just spoiled rotten kids. So,
and I'm a realist. I'm pragmatic. I understand that my kids are going to play video games because I also don't want to be like, there will be no video games in this house ever. And then when your kid gets out of the house at 19 years old, they become like 400-pound gamer dudes. Like their gamer tag is repressed.gamer.69 at xboxlive.com. Yeah, that's the thing. Nah, don't really want that. But here's the thing. When you get home from school, you feed the dog, you take out the trash, you do your homework, then you do video games. So beyond the monetary rewards for some chores, there will be a couple of chores in there that's just what you do.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 2, they teach their kids social skills. And nothing bugs me more than you give little kids a little bit more leeway, but like 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, especially men, especially young boys, that when you meet them, the parents introduce them as like, hey, this is my son Richard. Hi, hey, Richard, say hi. And then he's like still clutching onto mom's dress or like trying to hide behind her and can't look at you in the eye. And when you shake their hand, it's like this really like feeble, limp-wristed thing. And it's just like, no, it's like you have to learn to interact with people in this world. That's how you're going to get ahead. Book smarts can only get you so far. And you literally do have to get along to get along. And there is something about even if it's not in your kid's wheelhouse of being an extrovert, but just when you meet someone, look them in the eye, shake their hand, be like, "Nice to meet you, sir. How you doing?" Yeah, and it's like I feel like that's fallen by the wayside because if this was the '50s, that mom would have grabbed Richard and like beat him over the head with a belt. She'd like give him some else like you look that Jap in the eye and you shake his hand. Whoa, '50s, yeah.
I can't believe that.
That's exactly what would happen.
This one, I agreed and disagreed. I could see a side where I completely understand kids developing social skills, which I think a lot of kids can naturally do. With parents who are generally social. Who if you send your kid to a normal public or just general private school.
I feel like it's gotten more lax nowadays because parents, you don't want to be too pushy. Parents are trying to be their best friends. Like, oh well, if Todd and AJ and Caden they don't want to talk to people, that's their thing. And then also the video games and the cell phones and no one's interacting socially anymore.
Well,
we should go back to the '50s. I'll be fine being called a Jap. I don't care.
As I was also saying that, I think there are a number of cases where not having social skills, having a kid being very introvert, could make a kid become very intellectual and to himself and invent new things, so he could be successful in a different type of way. A la, what's his name? What's the Apple guy? Steve Jobs? Wasn't he very...
Steve Jobs? Yeah, he was an asshole.
Yeah. So
there's a difference between being an asshole and being an introvert.
I don't know. I'm an asshole and an introvert.
Nick, I was gonna say, Nick, you're a big introvert.
I'm definitely a big introvert.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Numero 3, they have high expectations. This was chalk this one up in the no shit column.
I was confused. They have. Is this for the kids or for the parents?
I believe it's a little bit of both because a couple of these are parent-driven as well. And you can find all of these basically on like 17,000 pages on the internet. So, just look it up. Yeah. But high expectations when it comes to kids scholastically, athletically, and for the parents as well. It's one thing if you're living in a double-wide trailer in Mobile, Alabama, and you're smoking 2 packs of Newports a day, you're going through a handle of Johnny Red, and you're like, "Hey, kid, how come this B+? How come that ain't an A? What the hell is going on? Didn't I raise you to be better than that?" Nah, I think the kid can kind of see through that.
I love your voice impressions. Your Russian and your Southern accents are great.
"Daddy, you going to work today?" "No, I'm showing you the back of my hand today. That's what I'm doing. Get your ass to school. We need a Rhodes Scholar in this family."
I wonder where they got these percentages here. The 57% of kids who did the worst were expected to attend college by their parents. 96% who did their best were expected. Huh.
I think they're all kind of made up. But, it's weird. In my family, I was the first one to ever go to college, let alone graduate from college. But nowadays, I feel like it's commonplace to think that, hey, my kid's going to go to college, he's going to graduate. And then now, like, the higher expectations is, like, Muggsy, what sort of master's you going to get? What sort of doctorate you going to get? Law degree, medical degree, MBA, THC, DBD, huh?
I don't know what those last two were. What?
I think THC is the weed one, so maybe that's a bad one. But although who knows in 18 years what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get cancer if you don't smoke weed.
Ooh, that should be a good study.
Yeah, because it's weird. Back in the day, smoking used to be really good for you. It was like, oh, yeah, you got to coat your lungs. Yeah, the nice subtle coating of Chesterfields. Yeah, it's great. And then in the 70s, oh, you got to build your house with asbestos. It's great. This tape is good. Your ducts never fall apart with asbestos. It's great. And then nowadays, it's like, artificial sweeteners? Mm-hmm. Yeah, those things are going to rot your ass. That's going to give you ass cancer, guaranteed. Yeah, 10 years from now, it'll be like, oh, well, I guess Sweet and Low gives you ass cancer. Who would have known? That
big old fat ass you get when you eat sweet and low.
Yeah. But yeah, having high expectation for your kids, I feel like that should be a given.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked to see it, but from my perspective, not having kids yet, I liked seeing those words like high expectations. I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, I would assume I would have high expectations, but until not seeing it on text yet, it was like, oh yeah, it was like it was nice to see.
Number 4, the 13 things parents can do to set their kids up for success. They have healthy relationship with each other, and this is this is one of the good ones. It's like, it always comes down to a kid with an intact household with 2 parents that don't hate each other's guts. They're gonna have a leg up on the competition. They really are. Now, if the parents despise each other, and then the dad is banging his secretary and the mom is banging the pool guy, it's probably not going to be the best environment. And also, if the parents are separated, let's say, or maybe they were never married, maybe it's like a short-term fling, whatever. If both the parents are civil to each other, and the kid sees that, and they're both involved in his or her life, I think that's equally as important because again, I'm a realist. I understand that not every set of parents are going to be together. They're not married or blah, blah, blah. But if the 2 parents, the dad and the mom in the kid's life are just civil to each other, if they're not together, or if they are together, they have a good working relationship, see it more as a partnership, it's going to be beneficial for the kid.
No, I completely agree. I think this one to me was like a no Doug type of statement. Even though I think a lot of people like hearing stories, particularly for sports figures who are successful like in their careers, and like hearing that they came from like a broken home, like, oh, this kid went over adversity. Was it adversity or diversity?
Adversity.
Adversity. So this kid went over adversity and achieved success. So so that's my little take on it.
Yeah, all right. So if I want Muggsy to play in the NFL, I need to kick Crystal out of the house. That's how we'll roll.
Yes, that's how you should do it.
Yeah, I think that's more of the not the norm, the exception. All these guys going to the NFL, NBA, MLB out of broken homes. It's just like, where are for every one of those, there's probably about 5,000 like really messed up, terrible people out there.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is all. How come? All right, fine. Number 5, they've attained higher levels of education.
Yeah, I definitely assume this one would be. It is a must for success.
It's just like let's have a nice baseline. Let's at least start with a GED.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, but it is quasi understandable, and it also plays into. Let's see here. Oh, number 11. That generally, if the parent also plays into number 8. Generally, if the parents are highly more educated, they're more enlightened a little bit. They earn more, and that's really going to help setting the kid up. I mean, there's a big difference between paying for a really bad not paying for really bad public schools, able to send them off to a private school with a better education system, or varying degrees of college. There's a difference between a community college. There's a difference between Princeton. I mean, there's not much. No, just kidding. But there is a little bit of a gap there, but it's also going to cost you a couple more shekels.
Yeah, I hope the viewers here read these articles. For so far on all these that I've been reading, there's always a study that's proving this, and I think they're all from different universities and stuff about how.
Oh yeah, shocker!
It's crazy.
That's like a cigarette company saying that cigarettes, man, they give you protein. You want a 6-pack? Cigarettes. University saying, higher levels of education. That's how you get your kids to. Yeah, but and I've been on here saying that I do value street smarts over book smarts, but I do see the value of attaining higher degrees, and that's what we're going to push our kids to be doing. Oh, you got your bachelor's? That is cute. When you get your master's,
then you can sit at the adults table. when you get a master.
That's a great idea. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit all the kids with bachelor's degrees and lowers at the kids' table at Thanksgiving.
I always said when I have kids someday, if I have multiple kids, right now, if I do have kids, the current number is 1, but, let's say I go two or three, I would want, one of my kids to go through 4-year, bachelor's, possibly pursue a master's.
Mm-hmm.
But I also would want a kid to take up a trade, take up a skill, something.
Welding.
I would want a balance.
Underwater welding.
Maybe.
Those guys make bank. Very specialized, yeah. You should adopt a 17-year-old Russian girl.
Oh. Why?
I don't. It's like in your wheelhouse.
I don't trust me with that.
Svetlana, go sit at the kids' table on Thanksgiving. Da.
Yes, Daddy.
Da Faza. Number 6, they teach the kids math early on, and this also seems like the no shit Sherlock, but we're not talking about reading, writing, arithmetic, or geometry, or trigonometry, or anything like that. But literally, sitting down with your kid instead of watching the Netflix every single night. Although you can do this while you're watching the Netflix, and just going through the like the little flashcards and stuff, or doing like fun little things, or be like, hey, Muggsy, how many dinosaurs do we have here? 8. Oh, no. 3 got taken away by the Zika virus. How many do we have left now? 5. 5 dinosaurs not dead from Zika.
Sesame Street's take on the Zika virus.
Yeah.
Taking out the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Did your mom work with you on math at all?
Yes. I believe
Or your dad definitely did. It's like, all right, so Nick, we have 6 lotto tickets and 4 of them are losers. How many do we have left?
We're poor, Dad. The answer is we're poor.
Oh man.
My mom and dad, Dad, no. My mom, I think she was more involved, at least getting me flashcards and getting me the tools to do a lot of the stuff. I think I did a majority on my own, but she always provided me with, if I needed like study stuff, she was always there to go through with it. So I was kind of, I shouldn't be shocked to see this one. I completely understand, but to go particularly with math and not talk about, reading, I assume there would be a reading one. Spoiler alert, reading is not listed in one of these 13 choices, so it makes sense,
Well,
but
I think they assumed the kid can read. Or maybe it should have been reading and math.
yeah, I would assume that those two should be the two minimum or the most, generalized systems. You don't have to talk about like they teach their kids geography, or they teach their kids, poli sci, early on. Math and reading, I think, are the two. Yeah, I mean, we don't have to talk about writing anymore. Everything is keyboard, so.
It's really weird. I used to be a really big map nerd, and like at one point when I was like 13 years old, I could place every. If you gave me a blank map, I could fill in every single country on the globe. Not so much anymore. Plus also some of the countries have split, so it's like whatever. But it's funny. We put up a world map in Muggsy's room, and the wife couldn't pick out like a couple major countries in Europe.
Oh, that's funny. No,
yeah. She's like, "What's this one? That's Poland."
I used to be really good at maps too. Except Africa, there was so many countries, and that kept changing in the 90s. So, yeah, I could do Europe,
Warlords,
Asia. Obviously, I mean that's
Could you find Russia, Nick?
I could find Russia. Well, in the early 89, so early ages, I had a globe. It was like, I can't say this name, Union Soviet Socialist Republic. That's what it used to be.
Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, all the stands.
I don't understand.
Stan Musial. Yeah. Number 7, they develop a relationship with their kids. Again, this would be under the like really, but it is understandable. And also, I feel like this is more of the affluent people that they're talking about. And if you're able to hire a nanny and the dad's working all the time, and maybe the mom's working outside the house too, and the kids are being raised by the nanny. That's the whole like stereotypical waspy rich family thing, and I feel like those kids get just as lonely as if a poorer family if they're just completely ignored all the time. And I feel like it's equally detrimental to the kid.
I assume this one was the same as the last one we had that talked about relationships.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things where you don't want your kids to become your entire life, because then you turn into like a helicopter parent. But yeah, spend time with the kids. That's as easy as it should be. And also, you can have a lot of fun too. Like if Muggsy gets into drones, it's going to be awesome.
The drones.
And by drones, I mean if she gets into hating drones and we get a falcon and we train it to attack drones, that will be even better.
Interesting take on that.
Nick, we're going to be falconers.
The falconer.
No, but literally, get involved with your kids. You know, take them fishing, hang out with them, take them on bike rides, take them to the movies, have them go see the 30 seconds they're able to of God, what's it called? The Ryan Reynolds superhero movie, Deadpool.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Take them to the 30-second PG version of Deadpool.
See, I kind of assumed this is what parenting is having a relationship. You don't just, knock up someone and then just leave, unless you're,
A professional athlete.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I kind of thought this was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, obviously, when you have kids, you're there every morning for them. You're there. Yeah.
Number 8, they're less stressed. And I feel like this ties into the higher education level and also the level of income, which is coming up here a little bit. But in general, like if you're worried about the house being foreclosed on or getting evicted, things like that, car being repoed, the kid can kind of feel that, kind of sense it. And also the having to move, change schools, change friends all the time. I think that's hard on the kid. But in general, if you have a little bit more money, you're going to be a little bit less stressed. And also, if you're taking yourself out of situations that would cause stress, whether that's a bad relationship, a bad job, a bad whatever, that's going to have a good trickle-down effect to the kid. And also, if you're more stressed, you're less apt to have a good relationship with the kid, playing into point number 7.
When I was reading this, I didn't know if they were talking about the kids or the adults.
I would say probably the kids, too. Yeah, like I could see that. Maybe it's because kids feel stressed, too, especially if they're in a lot of extracurriculars and have high expectations. But, again, you're supposed to have high expectations. That's number 3.
Yeah.
I guess you got to find a balance.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I guess I never would have. I don't think about kids and having stress. I mean, kids I see as mostly, those who, they don't have to worry about like adult problems yet. Paying bills and stuff like adults do, and things that make adults stressful. So that's an interesting take on that one. I kind of liked reading this one.
Like you have high expectations for the kids, and when they're taking the ACT, the perfect score is 36, and be like, hey, Muggsy, we want at least a 29, but hey, if you get a 28, that's not so bad. Don't stress out about it.
27, you're sleeping in the garage.
Actually, wait, no. I got a 29. Muggsy, we want a 34, but if you get a 32, you won't have to sleep in the attic.
You're still going to the attic, though.
Get in the attic. Get in the attic. Number 9, the value effort over avoiding failure. I like this one, too, because it's sometimes with failure, it's not really up to you, like especially in sports. Like you can work your ass off, you can do everything possible to win, but still lose. And you just seeing like these documentaries of like sports dads, sports parents, and things like that, where they should really be valuing how hard the kid is working rather than the end result. And I feel like that's something in life as well, because when you're working towards goals in your adult life, whether it be work, whether it be with relationships, whether it be etc., it's always the effort. You always got to think about intentions rather than the end result.
I think this is probably the hardest one for a lot of kids to get and understand. I'm saying it strictly of the fact that I had to read this one a couple times just to make it click in my head about understanding. It's it's about the work going into it, and if you did fail, but if you're able to learn something out of it, then it's definitely worth understanding.
Yep. All right, so we think that Muggsy may be a swimmer. Like, she loves water and etc. And say she's not very good, right? But every single day she's on the swim team. She gets up. She goes to school at 5 a.m, does some laps, goes to school, has swim practice after school, works her ass off. And let's say she's not very good, but we'll say one time she gets like 8th place, which is she ribbons at one of these meets, right? We're not gonna take her home and like beat her with a hose and be like, "How dare you get 8th? How dare you shame this family?" No, we're gonna take our hats off to her. It's like, Muggsy, you busted your ass, and you improved a lot as a swimmer, and you got up to 8th. Now we're gonna frame the shit out of this 8th place ribbon.
And that's, yeah.
And that's not celebrating mediocrity. That's celebrating effort and hard work, which is
overlooked.
I feel like we focus too much on the final result rather than what it took to get a person to that place. Like if Stephen Hawking qualified for the Olympics in the 100-meter dash, but got smoked by Usain Bolt, whoever will be like, "Damn, Hawking, you got lapped by Usain Bolt." Otherwise, we should be like, "No, Stephen Hawking competing in the Olympics is a pretty damn big achievement." Oh, it's the Jamaican bobsled team theory.
The Jamaican bobsled team theory?
Yeah.
I can kind of see that.
All right, let's jet through these last couple ones. Number 10, the mom's work.
You could say the dad's work. I mean, if you want to be in the, guys, girls, whatever, that kind of mindset. Yeah,
I kind of see this one because the moms traditionally are the home parent, and I feel like if mom is around too much, they might sort of assimilate into the kid's life, become the helicopter parent, become a little overbearing. You know what I mean?
To a point, yeah. But I'm playing devil's advocate here, and it's 2016, and we're at an age where I think a lot of dads are going to eventually transition to that, filling in that quote-unquote mom role. So, yeah, I mean, I understand. Yeah, I think kids.
I'm gonna start breastfeeding Muggsy next week.
I think kids should understand that the parents
She's a
all have
biter.
to work hard.
At number 11, they have a higher socioeconomic status. This one should be the no shit.
Oh yeah. I didn't. Yeah, this was. Yeah, I didn't like this. I'm like.
Well, no. Also, I'm surprised this one hasn't gotten like an internet backlash because, like, how dare you shame lower socioeconomic families with this list? First of all, shut up. Number 2, go make more money. Number 3, it is going to set your kid up for better success. Now, we're not saying if you win the lottery, like, your kids aren't going to grow up to be shitheads, or if you start a $1 billion company, your kids aren't going to be spoiled, terrible brats. But, having a little bit extra money, so there's a little bit extra stress, so maybe you can afford a house in a better school district, or you can afford all those hockey pads when the kid really wants to play hockey because all of his friends do. It's probably going to help out. Yeah. Slightly. Number 12, all right, this one I didn't get. This one sounds like some new age parenting bullshit, but at number 12, they are authoritative rather than authoritarian or permissive.
Yeah, I'm not good with English and understanding words, but I can kind of see reading the definitions. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
All right, so authoritarian would be like a Hitler. Permissive would be like a Jimmy Carter. Authoritative would be like I don't know, Churchill? Yeah, we'll say Churchill. Be a Churchill. Don't be Hitler. Or Jimmy Carter. Put that on a t-shirt.
Don't be Jimmy Carter.
Peanut farmer. 13, last and not least, this one I like the most, to teach grit. And this plays into the swimming example. And say Muggsy's not that great of a swimmer, but she's getting up at 5 a.m. every single day, never misses a practice, always works hard, always does the thing her coaches tell her. That's grit. That's not giving up in the face of adversity. And when things don't go your way, just stick into something. When you say you're going to do it, do it. And that's something that's very underrated teaching lessons in life.
Yeah, when I first read this one, I was thinking, why does it want me to teach my kids to become John Wayne?
Hey
He's-
there, Pilgrim.
he's true grit.
Don't be giving. If you commit to something, don't give up until the job's done. There, Pilgrim.
Yeah, I did. I think I like this one a lot more than I originally thought when I first read it.
I'm John Wayne. I died because we shot a movie on a nuclear testing site. Or maybe I died because my diet consisted of coffee and red meat.
and liquor.
And liquor. And well, you know. Yeah. But, yeah, just the whole grit of working your ass off, not giving up. If I could just pick all right, so 3 traits that I can give Muggsy and like our future kids: work your ass off, don't give up, and be able to get along with people. I feel like if you just pass on those 3 things, the rest is just window dressing. Like, they'll be fine.
You should write your own little blog article and be like, kids, you don't need 13. You only need 3. 3 things that set up to be successful.
I should write a book. Nick, dictate my book.
Whatever, I barely passed English in high school.
No, it'd be like, it'll be like an old timey, like 1950s. I'm the boss, you're the secretary. Nick, take a letter.
No, what? No, I'm not doing that. No.
Write a General Electric. All right, fine. All right, so that's the list of 13. You know, there's some good ones, some bad ones. We'll have the list up on the show notes page, and you can find it everywhere on the internet. Nick, overall thoughts on the list?
It's, I think it's a fine list. It's very positive. A lot of stuff. I mean, obviously,
Because your list is on my list.
a good Hall & Oates song. A lot of it's, it seems like I know, duh, and a lot of things. It's like the way it's worded, it makes you like take a step back, like, oh yeah, that does make sense. That might be overlooked. So I mean, you really can't go wrong with this list.
Because your lisp is on my lisp of the best lisp of all time.
I take that personally because I do have a lisp.
Not really. You kind of gotten over your lisp since we met 13 years ago.
Don't say 13 years
God,
ago.
holy
That's crap.
shit.
Shut up. Don't say that.
It is 13 years though, isn't it?
Fall 2003. Almost 13.
I think we should see other people.
I kind of felt like we were drifting apart too.
What?
Whoa.
Oh,
Things just got
too
serious
far.
here.
What should people be looking for from the Nick Sun podcast?
I'm hoping to still be doing it. I'm on vacation next week, so I don't think I'm gonna do another episode. But I'm always writing down and recording the latest trending news stories. A lot of movies are coming out this summer, so I'm trying to cover all the movies, good and bad. There's a lot of buzz with a lot of movies, positive, some negative, aka Ghostbusters right now. So I'm trying to follow a lot of that.
If you hate Ghostbusters, you're sexist. You can't objectively critique it because if you do, you're sexist.
That is correct.
All right. This show is available on iTunes and Stitcher. Follow us on Twitter at DadmoPod, me at Andy Carlson Show, or Nick at NickAsun. The website is dadmopod.com. But for NickAsun, I'm Andy Carlson saying be a man, be a father, go Dad Mode. See you next time. Have some grit.
Think the episode you just heard is worth $1? Well, send it our way. Visit dadmodepod.com/support to find out how. Be a man, be a father. Go Dad Mode. The music is created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/Deeb.